I'm stood in front of this marvellous cathedral, the Cathedral of St David's in the city of St David, which is in the southwest corner or peninsula of Wales. St David was the abbot of Menavia, as it was said in Roman language at the time, and as a monk he founded this small site which has eventually become this cathedral. And these monks were famous for the good they did for travellers, providing food and sustenance, and for the poor and the needy. And it is largely for that and other apparent miracles that were performed that he was made into a saint, Saint David, and then became the patron saint of all of Wales. The building of this cathedral began in 1123 by Bishop Bernard. It took 6 or 7 years to build, which is, I think, quite outstanding, but it's not the cathedral that you see today. This cathedral was actually then restarted some few years later and went through a number of phases to make what is now a cathedral in the smallest city in the United Kingdom. Now, there are 69 cities in the United Kingdom, and the status of this town as a city was lost in the late 19th century. That was due to borough reorganisations, and if you remember from previous videos, you know that the status of a city is not conferred by way of size or population, or does it have a cathedral, or does it have the name of city in the name. It's conferred by the monarch. And in 1994, following a campaign from the residents of the town of St David's, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II re-granted city status via letters patent, which were delivered to the city in 1995. So it hasn't been a city in its present form for that long. It is the smallest city in England by population, and the population is 1,841 when I looked on Wikipedia. There are smaller cities by geographic area, so the smallest city by area is in fact the city of London. Second smallest is the city of Wells. We're in Wales, so Wells in Somerset. And that in fact is the smallest city by geographical area where it's isolated. But the city of St David's is the smallest city in the UK by population. And now I've mentioned Wales, Somerset, which is part of England. We have Scotland, Great Britain, Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom, British Isles, the Republic of Ireland, ERA. What does all that mean? And I thought a quick geography lesson is appropriate now too. So Wales is a principality, part of England and Wales. And if you combine England, Wales and Scotland, you get Great Britain. So Great Britain is England, Wales, Scotland. You combine Great Britain with Northern Ireland, you get the UK, the United Kingdom, a sovereign nation represented in the UN and so on. So the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and Great Britain is England, Scotland and Wales. And when we look at the island, I-S-L-A-N-D, the island to the west of where we are, is comprised 2 countries. To the south is sometimes called Southern Ireland. It is the Republic of Ireland. In their own language, it's called ERA. And that is a sovereign country. We have Northern Ireland at the top, making Ireland in total. And the United Kingdom, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, together make the British Isles. Wales, Ireland, and Scotland, they're Celtic nations, so their language is very different to the language spoken in England, although everyone does, I think most people would speak English too, but it's very different. And here, being on holiday in the peninsula of Wales and travelling through some of Wales, the spoken word and the language is so different. England was colonised by many countries, and early on came the Romans, and we got some language from there. Then came the Angles and the Saxons from Germany, Vikings, the Normans came in 1066, the Battle of Hastings, and when William the Conqueror beat King Harold, and became the king, he actually visited this site here. And it was part of what he did, praying, that raised and elevated the status of this city in the world of Christianity. Now, you might expect at this point I'm going to talk something about contact centres with a segue off to something meaningful, but actually I'm going to talk about something different. And what I'm going to talk about now is what's happening again, certainly here in Wales and in the UK, and no doubt the rest of Europe and the rest of the world. They're resurfacing, the re-rising of the epidemic or the pandemic, and lockdowns being brought in. And we're lucky enough this weekend to be staying in a marvellous hotel in St David's. Now, I struggle to say the name of this hotel, Tir y Felin, I think, but it's gorgeous. We had dinner last night, and the people that are working in this hotel are no doubt similar to people working in all manners of hospitality, hotels, restaurants, bars and pubs throughout the country. And they face news here of lockdown in Wales, starting in probably a week. And there's no furlough scheme anymore. So they're going to be out. They won't be paid unless the hotel is very fortunate to be very wealthy, and most are not. And the people who are serving us are, or were last night, so hardworking. They did a great job, and I was amazed. And I've worked myself in hospitality, that's why I'm focusing on it. And I was thinking, you know, I am, my family, really fortunate to be able to come on holiday, to stay in a nice hotel, and to buy a nice dinner and have a bottle of wine. And the people working in the hotel are serving with a smile, and they're kind, and they communicate, and they engage. And in a week, they have no idea what they're doing. And I think it's really sad. So I don't know why I'm really saying the message other than let's think about the people who serve us in the nicest possible way, serving with a smile. And actually, one of them didn't at one point. And I thought, come on, you can do better. And then what I really thought was, give the guy a break, because in a week he might not have a job, and that's serious. And I think the first lockdown, it was new, people didn't know there was a furlough scheme, and in this one there may not be, and we don't know how long it'll last, and we don't know how many more there will be. So give some thought to those people, and be, per maybe my previous videos, be kind. Thank you for watching.